So the DNC, first of its kind virtual convention, is over. And our kind of overall take after we kind of analyzed. Yes, thank goodness.
I'm sure they're saying the same thing, by the way.
The attacks that he did make, I thought were kind of ridiculous. One, on the economy. I mean, give me a break. Anybody would take the Trump economy, right, even right now, over the Obama economy. 2, on foreign policy. Afghanistan and Iraq, we're now, kind of ramping down. They were ramping up. We've dealt with ISIS. We've dealt with Baghdadi. They made the Iranian nuclear deal. They walked away from Israel. President Trump last week, right before the DNC convention, made the historic deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. None of that kind of stuff happened under the Obama administration. What happened under the Obama administration was North Korea kept their nuclear program on track, and Iran got a deal where they could keep their nuclear program moving.
According to our review of the transcript and watching it last night, here's what was left out. Iran, nuclear, Middle East, or deal. Not in what we see in the transcript. And they were the authors of the Iran nuclear deal.
Omissions are very important in the Biden speech. There's a lot of platitudes, a lot of broad generalities and sayings, but there's omissions of substantial material facts, which makes it a misleading speech about the status of America today.
The other glaring admission that I think, Jay, I really think it was incumbent on them to at least bring up the violence in the streets and give their view on what they would do to quell it. I mean, look, there can be a disagreement of how to address it, but there's no disagreement that there is violence in the streets in some cities, most of them Democrat-run, by the way, and what is their solution to address it? Without a plan for that, Jay, I don't think they're going to win votes in those places.
Do you think anything that was said changed a single mind, other than the fact that Joe Biden said he would do a federal mask mandate, which I don't think he has the power to do the moment he was president, for your kids, to wear masks outside the playground, or when you take a run or a walk outside outside the door of your house, take trash out.
Aren't we going to want to? First of all, how would you say that you're going to do a federal mask mandate in August of something that you're going to impose in the end of January when you're president, when you don't know where the status of the virus will be?
He keeps waiting for a miracle. Well, I have news for him. No miracle is coming.
I've got news for Joe Biden. There are miracles.
This whole idea with COVID that, we can't have miracles. Well, let me tell you something. God gave us brains. So, of course, you use the brain to create technology and make good decisions. Wearing masks, all this, that, social distancing, of course, and the treatments we've already created for COVID that have been good. But you still pray for miracles at any time.
You can't compare us with Japan and Canada and these other countries. We're a country of 330 million people. When you take the number of deaths that have occurred attributable to the coronavirus to the population of this nation, it's very small compared to what it could have been had the president not taken the action that he did when he did. So these platitudes and these denials of the intervention of God in human life are something that is characteristic of the Democrats, and Joe Biden is carrying that line forward.
You know what that is? That is the hubris, the arrogance of the left. It's kind of like, we are God. I mean, that's almost the way Andy it comes across.
His speech has a lot of selective memory and a lot of rank hypocrisy. I thought it was rich that he talked about he was standing against the privileged few at the top, Jay. He is politically the longest surviving inhabitant of the swamp. He is part of that privileged few. He has a fundamentally different view of the world, and it matches Obama's, and we lived through 8 years of that. He has a fundamentally different view of the role of government. It's more government, it is more taxes, it's more spending, it's more government control. Remember what Ronald Reagan said, government is not the solution to the problem, government is the problem.
All I heard was platitudes. You know what I mean by platitudes? Broad, general statements, love, freedom, hope, the next life, unity, going forward together. I didn't hear any concrete plans because there aren't any. They have nothing to fight against. So what they do is they resort to the utilization of platitudes.
People like Joe Biden as a person, his personality. But what I thought was unbelievably lacking yesterday from the now Democratic nominee to be president was a policy statement that wasn't just a platitude or, as I said, I'm nicer than Donald Trump.